the CMMG Banshee. Let's check it out. CMMG is one of those companies that takes your basic AR-15 and just transforms it. You know, there are so many different gun companies out there making the AR-15, and a lot of times it's just rehashing the same old thing. But one of the big things with CMMG is the innovation. We've looked at a number of different things, whether it's the Valkyrie or the Guard. In 9mm, of course, their Mutant is one of my favorite 7.62 by 39 rifles. This is the Banshee, and one of the reasons why it's called the Banshee is because it has such a short barrel. In fact, this is a 5-inch barrel. This is in 45 ACP. Now I'm going to show you some cool things about that with some ammunition choices that are pretty unique. But this is a very small pistol. And one of the big pluses for the Banshee and the Guard and some of the other designs is their delayed radial blowback. That means this is not a gas system, this is a blowback. And for 9mm and 45, it just makes it to where you can have really short systems and that they are very reliable. Of course, the Banshee does take your Glock 45 mags or 9mm mags, but what's really beautiful is when you put the big boy in here, and I call this the fun stick. Now the Banshee is the smallest of not only the CMMG line, but probably the smallest on the market. I mean, it is a tiny little pistol. In the 45 ACP, it does come again in 9mm, 300 blackout, has an 8-inch barrel, and then the 22 comes with a 4-inch barrel. So it gives you a lot of different options. Let's go ahead and make sure the gun is unloaded. Remove the magazine. Check to make sure the chamber is empty, and it is. One thing you'll notice is the large piece right here for your magazine release, which makes it great. Very easy to grab. Just kind of gets it out of the way because of the width of the magazine. And of course the magazine well is beveled, and it's just a very nice fit. And of course, using Glock mags, that's the best way to go. And then of course, again, you can upgrade to your larger mags. But it does come with one 13-round Glock 21 mag. The finish on here is a Cerakote finish, but this is the Bazooka Green. Now CMMG sent this to me for the test, and you know, it's funny, when I first got it in, I was kind of like, ooh, I don't know if I like that. But the more that I had it here for a day or two, the more I liked it. I think it looks good with the black. But you can get, I think it's 11 different Cerakote finishes. Then of course we have Banshee right here on the side. I love that name. The Banshee weighs 4 pounds and 12 ounces without the MRO, and it's 20 inches with the brace collapsed. So it's a really compact package. It comes with a Mo pistol grip, and it does come with the Gearhead Works tail hook, and this is the Mod 2. This is actually this is probably the best really brace on the market, because it brings this arm down and you're able to set it into place. And I've got some range demonstration. We'll talk a little bit more about it. And then right here we have an adjustment. So it's very versatile. But now one thing that I think was really cool that CMMG did was do a number of ambidextrous features. You have your ambidextrous selector, and of course it's on the typical side here. We have our charging handle, which is really nice. It is ambidextrous. It has the CMMG logo on it. And then we have at the back plate, you have ambidextrous hooks on either side. The handguard itself is made by CMMG. This is their M-Lock, but it is a very short, in fact it's 4-inch. It's their 4-inch handguard. And it does have the Picatinny rail up top, which matches with the receiver. Now these are 70-75 T6 aluminum, both the upper and lower receiver. Now the barrel being 5 inches, it does have a thread protector on the end, and of course this is 1/2 by 28 thread. So one thing that if you're going to put a muzzle brake, at least on the 45, is you need to make sure that your diameter is correct, and that's important. But I'm going to tell you what, guys, this is a radial delayed blowback, and because of that, the recoil is really nice. Honestly, the big thing about this is there's just no real muzzle rise. Now, you put a compensator on the end, that would be great. It would even tame it a little bit more, but this was also excellent for a suppressor, and obviously that's what these are made for. I mean, coming in the calibers that it does with 9, 45, 22, and 300 blackout, this is a perfect gun, and with it being so tiny, even with the extension of the suppressor, it keeps it a nice small package. Now, the big thing though is the radial blowback is really what I want to look at. So we're going to open it up and look at what that means. Let's go ahead and pull out our bolt carrier group. Now here it looks like a standard M16 bolt carrier group, but typically on your 9mm 45 ARs, there is no bolt here. The bolt face is actually inside. And what happens is with the radial delayed blowback is that because this actually holds into place just long enough to release, and it allows all the pressure to go forward. And so then you have a little less pressure coming back. Now you'll notice that it's spring tension here instead of it camming and locking like it does on an AR-15. But also you'll notice that the gas pin or the gas key is solid. So there is no, this is not a direct impingement system. There's no gas tube. It's all through the barrel and out the end of the barrel, which is going to give you even better velocity. And in turn, it's going to help with felt recoil. You do have your standard buffer tube and buffer. Now they do offer a kit that'll go into the back here, especially when you're using suppressors and you want to add a little bit of weight to your bolt carrier group. The kit is available on CMMG. But with the radial blowback, it is a really sweet shooting, flat shooting gun. And I don't think Freedom Munitions for supplying the 45 ACP. We're using some Full Metal Jacket, new manufactured, remanufactured. You can get a 5% discount using SUCH00 at the Freedom Munitions website. Now with the Banshee being so small, I really was curious at the reliability, but we didn't have any kind of feeding issues whatsoever. It just ran. The radial blowback design, it just, like a sewing machine, just goes back and forth. Of course, you can put a nice muzzle brake on here that would kind of tame some of the recoil, but it's not that bad with 45 ACP. One of the great things, though, that CMMG is doing is if you're used to the AR-15 and you like the way you know all the controls, going to a pistol caliber like this with 45, with 9mm, 22, whatever, everything is familiar. You know where all the controls are. You know how to rack it, put your mag in. I mean, everything is just natural. And so I really love that feature with this pistol. Now mainly we were shooting 230 grain Full Metal Jacket 45 ACP, and this was Freedom Munitions, about 830 feet per second. CMMG sent some Doubletap ammunition, and this is the 450 SMC. It's really like a souped up 45 Super. These are only to be fired in pistols or firearms that are rated for +P in 45. Now, as you can see, the case is the same size, but there's definitely more powder in the 450 SMC. Now we're going to try some of the Doubletap 450 SMC. This is wad cutters. We're just going to see what kind of difference in power. That is a considerable amount more recoil, but it just comes back on your shoulder. It really doesn't rise that much, so the muzzle rise isn't there, but it is definitely smoky, and that has a lot to do with the lead wad cutters. Now we're going to try the Doubletap. That's their bonded self-defense. It's 185 grain, it's jacketed hollow points, and we're going to see how this does as far as recoil. Wow. A lot more punch, but still not a lot of muzzle rise. A lot less smoke. And we were getting up to 1,360 feet per second with the Doubletap 450 SMC. And upcoming, we're going to do a ballistics test on these rounds compared to 45. We're going to do some chronographs, some ballistic gelatin, and some other things, because there's not really a lot of information about these out there. This is the tailhook brace for your AR pistol. Again, this is a pistol. So you just have a little lever here, you push open, and it brings it out. To me, this is the best option for a brace, because it actually rests the stock. It naturally goes this direction because the barrel's heavier, and so it rests right here on your arm. Now I'm going to try shooting it without the brace attached, without the tail hook. You can tell that it does a lot more rocking. That gives it just that leverage. This is adjustable, so I can bring it here if I want to bring it up or bring it back out. Of course, then I could just rest it on my cheek as well. And the Trijicon MRO is excellent for this design. And I'll tell you what, it's built like a tank, and with a small package like this, you know, you don't have to worry about your zero coming off, and it really lines up with the capability of the Banshee. Now the retail price on the CMMG Banshee is $1499.95. Because of all the different features, ambidextrous, Cerakote, the radial delayed blowback action, the tail hook, I mean, there's a lot of different things. Of course, the MRO is not included, and you do get a 13-round Glock magazine. So while this is not some of your budget AR-15s, this is definitely good quality. And I want to give a big thanks to CMMG for sending the Banshee for the test and evaluation, and for their sponsorship. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Right here, and it pops out, and I don't want to go into that yet because I hadn't even... Let's just start over. Shall we? Shall we start over? Yes, we shall.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.
So it's a really compact package. Of course, you knew I was going to say compact package.